I'm Jared Shaw, I'm from Beavertown, PA.
I'm Spencer, I'm from New York. I'm Colin, I'm from the outskirts of Philadelphia.
I'm James Irwin, I'm from Finger Lakes, New York.
I'm Justin Green, I'm from Longer Things.
I'm Eli Ponostock, I'm from Lidditz, PA.
Yep, that's the group. Spend a lot of time together. All right, we got 3 songs here. First song is Seek You First, and you guys are welcome to join in with that as well. Number 3. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. John, can we talk about problem solving?
We got back from a raft trip, 8 weeks long. A lot of fun. But that, believe it or not, that's not the reason we come to camp. It's not to do extra chipping trip or hiking trips. It's not to have fun. It's not to go out live on the woods. Those are bonuses of camp. Those are factors. But the reason why we come to camp is to work on ourselves, help others. There's two rules of camp: is to do everything in a good attitude and as a group. We basically come to camp to make progress. All the other trips are bonuses. Yeah, but I'm going to talk about problem solving, the way that we do it, and what we do, the steps. It's basically just emphasizing the way we say sorry to our parents. So step one is we identify the problem. So say I were to disrespect Jake. I said he was ugly or something like that. And I said, Jake, you're ugly. Call it a circle, and we get a circle, we talk about it, we identify the problem, and then we say, we decide if it's a problem or not. And so the way I would say it would be, the problem was being disrespectful, sorry Jake for that, like next time, be respectful. And to be honest, this is kind of just like, camp verbalizes our sorries. At home, it's a tool that we will use at home in our heads, like when we go up to our parents and we're mad at them, we'll say sorry for it. Camp is basically just, we talk about it, we say it first, and kind of emphasize it, and it's a good way to make progress and to eventually go home and to get along with our parents. And there's 3 steps that I told you, and we use them in our everyday life. I mean, even if we don't know about it, like whenever we do it wrong, we say sorry for it, we know what we did, and we get a plan what we're going to do next time. And the plan is a really important part of the problem solving, because when you get a plan for what you're going to do next time, it's not just like sorry and then do it again. And you say sorry again, and you just do it again. And you say sorry again, and you keep on going. But I think camp emphasizes like you get a plan for next time, like Jay, I'm gonna be respectful of you next time. Then next time we'll be respectful, we're not gonna it's kind of just like, get a plan for it. And that helps a lot.
So there's times when, kind of you said, there's repeat problems, right? A lot of us have a lot of us have bad habits. Come to camp with bad habits, and so it can take a while to break those. And yeah, kind of like Colin said, it can kind of feel maybe monotonous at times. It's just like over and over again. I have solve problem for being disrespectful, but it's just kind of keep going. After a while, break these habits, and kind of big part of that is coming with a plan. It's very important. Try to keep it simple, right? Don't try to make it too complicated. Just something simple you can remember. So as a group, you can help that. In this case, disrespect Jay. As a group, you can help help Colin remember his plan. Half hour later, you can come back and like, hey, Colin, what was your plan there? Like, Colin working on that? Yeah. Colin, you have anything else to add? For the group, you can, nobody likes pressure, and you definitely get that in a group. You're not getting away from your group. You're stuck there, you're facing your problems, and, get them solved. Some take longer to get solved than others. But, just the group pressure, even though we hate it, and it's good. There's a lot of guys that graduate, as much as they hated their group when they were at camp, they graduate and their group is the biggest thing they miss, just because of the accountability that brings. And yeah, it means a lot, even though you really sing sometimes. All right, Caleb. Caleb's going to talk about some of the things at camp. Yeah, you want to go ahead there, Caleb?
That's what we do every day. In the morning, we wake up, make our beds, do our vegetables. We go out to our lodge, which is basically bench, basically. And we do a devotion, and lunch, eat, and we take a 30-minute nap, we call it siesta, and do whatever we need to do for the afternoon, supper, then, well, before we go to bed, we do powwow, which is basically, we evaluate everything we did that day, like, work schedules and such, and how everything feels, and, we just, try and go to bed.
Yeah. I don't know, Caleb, I'll drink back here, but I don't know if you mentioned or not, before work schedule, game, anything like that, those get planned, right? Yeah, why is that? Why do we get plans in our game?
So we know what we're working on, like our goals.
Yeah, so pretty much before we go into get a circle, get a plan, so we know what we're working on, and then when we're done with our work schedule, if we're split 10 lots of wood, get a circle again, and you know how we did it. And what might a plan for a work schedule be?
Stay focused.
Yeah, staying focused is a big one. So yeah, like, hey guys, we stay focused, we get our work done, and time we should, they take too long. Different things. And obviously sometimes there's other problems that come up during the work schedule, and we'll get a circle and it's fine. So yeah, it's definitely not the most efficient way to get work done, but we don't come to camp and work, kind of like Colin said, come to camp to help ourselves and help others. Yeah, any point through this, if you have questions, yeah, feel free to ask. Yeah, I don't know, Chief Jerry would be better if we keep those till the end maybe.
I think it's fine if somebody wants
Yeah.
to shoot their hand up.
Yeah, if you have a question, raise your hand, I'll try to get you. Alright, yeah, thank you. Another big part of camp is games. Yeah, Jerry's gonna talk about that a little bit.
So in games, most games, people either get like mad at somebody because games don't go well all the time at camp. It can sometimes be good, it can be bad. It can be that someone has to be stubborn and just doesn't want to solve a problem when they do get into solving. And at camp, games is a big thing. It helps you make progress, helps you do a lot of things you like graduate. Games can show you progress in many ways. It can show how you play, how you build teamwork, how you solve your problems. If you do a problem, it can show many ways that you can be successful when you're out of camp and in camp. So I think in games people get stressed out when it's not going the way, or say they just don't like they don't like how the game's going for themselves. And it seems like a self-chat already, but that's what people come to camp for. And I feel like games can be really selfish sometimes, because people like to have it their way, or want it their way, or however they want it to be. But it doesn't always work that way at camp, because camp we have structure, and we have a lot of things to help games be good. Now I'm going to read a verse about stress and how God can help you with stress. It's Philippians chapter 4, 11 and 13. Not that I speak in respect of one, for I have learned in whoever state I am there, with to be contented. I know both how to be abased, I know how to be abound. Everywhere in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to be abound and to suffer need. I can give all things to Christ, which strengthens me. And that just basically saying that He's always there with you. He doesn't. You may be stressed out, but take your stress to God. Don't just freak out over it because it's not going your way.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jerry. How do you want to see? Yeah, at least for myself personally, I can be a pretty competitive person. Games, it can be tough, right? I mean, we want to win. But you have 12 other guys that really want to win too, right? And there's always a losing team, there's always a winning team. It's kind of how life happens to be. And so yeah, for guys just to work together, teamwork. Games is very big team building aspect. Yeah, Jeff?
What for games you play?
What games we play? Guys, we have some there. Karen?
We play a lot of football as one of our periods. We also play a lot of camp games that we make up ourselves, like such as trees, which basically you pick a tree
stay on your street, and you go tag other people to get them on the team, and when the person who has everybody on the team is very enemies. We play some of that. We also play some soccer and a whole bunch of other games.
John?
We also play basketball and baseball.
Justin?
Play football.
Yes. Yep. I like dodgeball. Yeah. Yeah. No, we play a lot of different games. We have so there's pretty good exterior lights out at our maintenance building, a chuck wagon, to kind of light up the parking lots there at night, so we can go play after dark. And then we have 2 playing fields, kind of back in the woods, nice grassy area as well. Yeah, college games on there.
We also play board games.
Yep, do some board games. Yeah, on the raft trip, we played a ton of chess and checkers. Pretty much every day. I couldn't believe we didn't get sick. I was sure we'd get sick at chess and checkers. We never did. Yeah, Spencer? Yep, Chris? Yeah, Jade and Darren, you guys want to come on up? Moving on a little bit here, got more talking about trips, and obviously the big trip that we just came off of. Taryn, yeah, Jade, how about, why do we do trips at camp? We're talking a little bit about why we do trips and what that all looks like.
A lot of times at camp, you get used to the routine, and it's easy to, active while you're there. You get used to everything because it's really structured. And trips take us out of our comfort zone, and we're on some trips working together. Because hiking trip, hard, raft trip was hard, and takes you out of your comfort zone, and breaks up the routine. Sort of like after you leave camp, you go home, your routine is broken up, and it shows that you can stay right over, like, even as you get your lights thrown off track or whatever, and learn a lot of group work, working together, working hard, learn a lot about nature. That's one of the cool parts. And it's cool stuff. That's the fun part of camp.
Yeah, a lot of us need structure, thrive on structure, and camp tries to do a pretty good job of giving it. So, that's fine. Yeah, trips, this is structured a lot differently, so it kind of puts you out there a bit more. Throw you for a bit of a whirlwind. It's good. It's a good way to make progress. Get you out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Jane, what you want to do? Derek, you want to talk about some of the hard times, highlights, wherever we're at. You want to kind of show some of the pictures?
We basically, as you all know, we did a raft trip. We did 810 miles on the Missouri River, like a few months ago or so. And there were some lowlights and some highlights. Yeah, so we were about to stop the boat on the Yoda raft. And a few days after we sent down, we were floating on a sandbar. Because the lady told us a good way to go over the river. And she said there wasn't too much sandbars, but little did we know there was a tunnel. And we got stranded for 6 hours on the sandbar. And we all had to push the raft off for 6 hours, pushing. And we eventually did get off after a while, pushing. And then toward the end of the trip, we got the Coast Guard sadly shut us down. So we were planning on doing 1,010 miles, but the Coast Guard legal thing said no, like legal regulations for a raft. And so we sadly couldn't keep continuing. That was one of the lowest we all get asked about it.
A lot of fun stuff. Yeah, the round trip was a lot of fun. Yeah, the plan was be gone 8 weeks. That's pretty much what it was. sand more, getting shut down. Yeah, Jay, you want to talk to that some more?
Yeah, so basically, we didn't just decide to go on a raft trip and jump in the bus the next day and just head off the raft trip. We started planning with the year before. It was about time hiking, and that was like February. We started talking about it, just a dream, and there were very many people that thought it would be that cool. And we wrote letters to Coast Guard, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Chief Jared. We talked to him, we got him back to the campsite, and talked about it a lot about it. And then the owner of Farmer Boy, he's on the board, and he donated all our lumber in April somewhere. And then we built it out in the parking lot of camp, got everything figured out, put the tent on it. We had everything on except for the barrels, all furniture. Like the tent, the furniture, everything with barrels we had set up in the parking lot. And that right there is the parking lot. That's what it looked like out in the parking lot, all the furniture on it, and we did that, I think somewhere around April to there, we loaded it up to, take it down, actually, we took it down to the river, the west branch of Susquehanna, and we built it with just the platform and the barrels, see it float, and that was like, no way, like, we went up to make sure we floated there. And then this is the day before we left, we were all stuck up on the sunline, and someone from around the camp donated the truck and someone at this time to truck it out for us. They were out at South Dakota. We had a telehandler that somebody lended to us, lifted it out. And that's some of our campsites. We left, so we started planning this like end of February. This is when we coasted Oakland. And in July, the next year, July 29th, we left.
So that was like end of February, like
Year
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we left.
Been in the works for a while.
Then we left like this year, July 29th. That's just us hanging out on one of our campsites. Another one of our campsites. Swimming, we did a lot of swimming. As you can see, you can only see maybe 4 inches underneath the surface of the water, really muddy. That's the little cove that we filled it in, like where like originally built it. There's another one of our campsites. Ate a lot of fish. That's basically the layout of our raft. Driver's station is over there in that corner. Then we cooked, washed dishes, had a table in the center, storage underneath the table, underneath all the benches. Guy gave us that for bait, we actually catch it. We did math every day, 3 lessons of math a week. We showed math out there. Trip food, we ate pretty good compared to most trips. Most trips we had dehydrated food, but this trip we had canned food because we get carried away with food. And on our restocks, supervisors came out every 2 weeks, I think, and so the 3 days after that we had ice chest that we could keep fresh stuff in there. So we ate fresh food for the first 3 days after the restocks. We tried cooking clams once. The only water we had was iced tea. They didn't turn out the best. There's a museum. They're building a new, so like the whole way down along the Missouri River, it's all Lewis and Clark stuff, because Lewis and Clark Trail. And we stopped at this one museum, and they're building a fort that Lewis and Clark had stayed out for the winter, and they're building a replica. And he was showing us how Lewis and Clark would make their ropes for their ships and like that. Just baler twine and just slowly twisted it all together. Stopped the Gateway Arch. We had checkers tournament, and Johnny, he won. Did funny stuff, played checkers with emeralds, chess, saw a lot of tugboats. We actually got to go on one of those, a little bigger than that. Went down in the engine room, went up the cabin, really cool. Loading rooms. That's right at the conflict. We actually got kicked off the river right there, on the Mississippi and Missouri. Capitol building of St. Joseph, Missouri Capitol building. We found a little duck decoy, and we kept him as a pet our whole trip. It was fake. Kind of cool. Some nights we would sleep on the raft. It was scout campsite too late. That was the day that we pushed off. It was too late to set up tents, and it was really windy. We all laid out on the deck and stuff. That's the day we got kicked off. We got escorted by the fire, police, and water rescue teams. And all the campers got in a boat and took us upstream, and then they escorted Chief Nate and the raft back up. There's in the Coast Guard's cutter. He showed us all the electronic stuff. There's one of the engineers. One of the really cool scenery and stuff. Really nice sunsets. It only rained twice out of the 6 weeks that we were on the river. 2 days out of the 6 weeks. I think we got questions about the raft trips.
Why did the Coast Guard keep you on?
Because it was sort of like they said that we didn't have the right license. It was more so that if one of us would have got hurt or something, then it would keep back on them, wreck their name. So they didn't really want us getting hurt or anything. And also the legal. We had over 6 people, and our parents sort of paid for us to be a camp. So then it's recreational, and we didn't have a charter boat license. So
Yeah, that was, still barely understand that. It's very frustrating, very frustrating. We met so many nice people on the river. Everybody that we met was, yeah, super nice. Multiple people gave us donations. On the way back at camp, we stopped at a Chinese buffet and, ate out on money that was given to us. Actually, a campsite that Chief Jared came out to see us at, so that campsite, voters pulled up and just gave us $100. It was cool. Yeah, that was great. There was so many people watching out for us. Like a lot of people have their, Facebook river groups, and they'd come up to us like, "Hey, how you doing? We saw you on the river. We take a picture and we'll put it on our group, and everybody's wondering where you're at." And so, yeah, kind of ended up, publicity kind of got us in trouble. We were, how many newspapers and TV stations were we?
we were probably in 5 newspapers and probably just as many TV stations. Like, I don't think any were live, but like the evening news channel.
Yeah.
We were on the biggest, I think it was the biggest channel in St. Louis, I think maybe. We were on that. That's when we kind of got some trouble.
So we got shut down Friday afternoon. Thursday night, we got interviewed by CBS News of St. Louis or something. Yeah, biggest TV station in St. Louis. And Coast Guard saw that, and that's kind of what notified them that we were on the river. And yeah, it felt like they were just kind of trying to scratch up excuses to get us off. But it kind of came down to, they didn't feel safe about us being on the river. And kind of what they told us, they kind of get the credit for all the good stuff, but then they also get all the hash for all the bad stuff. And they just didn't feel good about us being on the river. So yeah. Any other questions? It's definitely a worthwhile trip. I didn't do it about it. Might have to find a way to work with the Coast Guard. Yeah, question back here.
How close were you to being done?
We were at the confluence. The Missouri River was, I think, 800 miles, and we had planned to do 1,010, so we had 210 miles left to do. But our initial goal was to do the whole Missouri, so we got that done. And we're just gonna go down to where Chief Jared is stopping at Carroll, doing 1,000.
Yeah. Kind of like the goal was to do the Missouri. We're the first graphic to do the Missouri. And yeah, kind of doing 200 miles in Mississippi, just say we did 1,000, and we thought it'd be cool to pull out where Chief Jared and his group did. So yeah, we're super grateful that we got to do the Missouri River, and we were out in the river for 6 weeks. Yeah, it would have been a lot more unfortunate if we would have got pulled off 2 weeks in.
bought the whole thing, and him and a bunch of his guys showed up, and we dismantled it in a day. It took us like 3 days to build it, and we took it down in a day, loaded up on some shed holders, and they took a hose and everything. The guy really didn't know what he was gonna do with it. He was either gonna build it on a lake or build it on his pond, or he was just gonna do something with it. So,
Yeah, it was kind of frustrating for the group because, like, seriously, we put all this work into it, and yeah, I mean, we needed somebody to buy it. So in that sense, it was good. But you know, the group had so much ownership in it, and then just have this guy come along and buy it. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just buying it. It's cool. That's what he told us. He had a few options, but he wasn't too sure what he was going to do with it. Yeah.
He also covered the part with the electric saw, and when Kate did, well, 3 of us sold wrap and it was delivered, and it's kind of hard to see, like, because all the work that we did for the past year and a half was covered.
Yeah. So we had to afford split in half so we could haul it from 60 feet wide anyway. You know, with 2 halves scattered together instead of taking all the bolts and everything out. He just decided to cut through the scab with the saw. And yeah, we had barrels floating down the river. It was pretty chaotic for a bit there. Yeah, it was hard to watch. Kind of seeing our hard work kind of get destroyed. All right, Chief Ben, you can turn it over to you.
Alright, thank you guys. Nice to appreciate you guys sharing. I was going to talk a little bit more about camp if we had time. So I'm going to put a little bit of a word on more about camp, and we're going to wrap it up with a song at the end. I just have this. These are the 4 cornerstones of camp, and these 4 areas are things that tie into everyday, into our everyday life at camp. Talk about camp in general for a little bit. So, someone mentioned that we come to camp to help ourselves and help others, and that's absolutely true. We say there's 2 reasons to come to camp, and that goes for boys, but it also goes for staff. That we're interested in helping ourselves and helping those around us. Someone also mentioned that there's 2 rules at camp, and that is that we do things as a group, and we do them in a good attitude. Absolutely. That kind of ties into problem solving, and that's how we figure out whether we have a problem or not, is whether it falls into there, whether it's doing things as a group, or whether it's doing things in a good attitude. Goals. I'm just going to talk a little bit about each one of these. Goals is something that everyone at camp has. Boys get goals when they come to camp. That looks like just talking about getting specifically a goal on what they need to work on from home. So they may need to work on anger, or they may need to work on just being more disciplined, or keeping their stuff cleaned up. And so they'll get a goal on that. So when a boy comes to camp, he gets about 4 goals, and then that's what he works on for about 4 months. And we have an evaluation and talk about how he's doing. Is he making progress on his goals? And what is also in the evaluation, we talk about what is he doing well in and what does he need to work on. And then he gets new goals and moves on. And those goals pretty much give him something specific to focus on for the next 4 months. The whole way throughout camp, you see the idea of plan, do, and evaluate. And that has to do with goals. When a boy comes to camp, he gets goals, he gets a plan. And then he goes and does the next 4 months. Then we evaluate those goals. And then it also happens when we play a game. We get a plan, and then we go do the game, and then we evaluate how we did. And it happens in staff at Families Day, where all the boys' families come and hang out at camp with them. And at the end of Families Day, when the boys are sitting down trail, doing whatever they have on plan. Staff are sitting around talking about, so how did it go? Did the plan work? Did it not work? And it's something that we do in our everyday lives, whether we think about it or not. So when you think about these 4 areas especially, think about a life skill, and that's what we're trying to teach at camp, is a life skill. And each guy that comes to camp, needs to work on something, and that goes for staff and for boys. And so we're all working on something. We all have goals, and in reality, all of our problems and all of your problems come from the same root. Okay? There's none of these guys in this group that have problems that are really that different than mine. Camp is there to help families that are struggling, help boys that are struggling, but in reality, it helps a lot of chiefs that are struggling too. And I don't know where I'd be if I didn't end up at camp. Probably not be where I am today, that's for sure. And it goes for each one of these guys too. So each one of us comes with something to work on, and we all come with goals, and we're all trying to get better in one way or another. We have structure at camp. There's a lot of structure. We have a certain way of doing things. Structure is not only good for boys; it's good for adults too, and some of us do better with it than others. I happen to be not a very disciplined person, and so structure is good for me. It helps boys in several areas. One is that a lot of boys come from a chaotic home, and so in the chaos and in the inconsistency at home, it's really hard for them to process what's happening on the inside. So when they come to camp, we try to provide a structured setting so that it brings order on the exterior. And it brings order on the outside, and when there's order on the outside, it gives space and time to work on order on the inside. And that's the way it works for all of us. The other thing that structure does is that we have a right and a wrong way of doing things, such as making a bed. There's a right way to make your bed, there's a wrong way to make your bed. And Jaden's graduating, you're short, okay? At the end of the session, he's going home. When he goes home, I don't care whether he makes his bed the way he does at camp or not. What I do care about is that he has a way of doing it. He has a right way of doing it and a wrong way of doing it, and that there's a structure there. And so at camp, we have a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things, and one of those reasons is to build a conscience in a boy's life. A lot of boys come to camp. Some boys come to camp with a fairly decent conscience. They know right and wrong. Other boys come to camp and they have no idea what right and wrong is. And for some boys, the line at home is one that moves. Sometimes it's wrong and sometimes it's right. We don't really know. So something that structure does is helps us build a conscience. It helps a boy build a conscience who doesn't have a conscience. But it also helps provide a structured, organized environment where we can start to process what's happening on the inside and start to work on some of that. Problem solving. Problem solving is something that we do in everyday life. You do problem solving in everyday life, whether you know it or not. Now, does it look like at camp where we get in a circle and we say, you know what? I treated you very badly, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to work on it this way. It probably doesn't quite look like that, but we all problem solve. Problem solving may come from a problem of mistreating someone, or it may come from the problem of our tent roof blowing off. That's a problem, and it needs to get solved. So we need to figure out how to identify that problem. The problem was that we didn't relash that tent last fall for who knows why, but we didn't relax the tent, and when it started to come loose, we didn't bother to fix it. So that's where the problem is. So we need to go figure out how to solve that problem and put that tarp back on. So problem solving is something that you do, it's something that I do, but it's something that a lot of boys need to learn how to do. They need to learn how to identify and say, what exactly happened there? And why? And how can I fix it? I am still working on problem solving. You can ask my wife about that, right? Sometimes I have a problem and I just need to figure out how to identify it and get a plan as to how I'm going to work on it. So it is a life skill, and that's what each one of these are. Relationships. Relationships are crucial at camp. In fact, relationship is what brings change. Without relationship, you're not going to have change. And that goes especially for boys and their chiefs. A boy that likes his chief makes a lot more progress at camp. Just saying. But it goes that way. It goes that way for the rest of us too. Okay? We need relationship, and we need to be able to change. And those relationships, they point things out in our lives that need change, and they bring things to the surface. But also we were made for a relationship, and we need relationship in our lives. One of the most important relationships at camp is between a chief and his boys. And when a chief comes to camp, that's something that he will work on for all of his camp stay, is how to work on relationships and how to make them better. And boys work on that relationship with their chief. At camp, relationships are in your face. Not only in the group, right? In the group, it's the most obvious because you live with the guy next to you 24/7, and if you don't like him, then you're going to have to figure out what to do about it. But it also, at camp in general, you're forced to have relationships. And even as staff, we work very closely together, probably more closely than at most places. And we need to work on relationships, and we need to work on making sure that those are good. And when they're not good, then we've got some problem solving to do. So not only does problem solving about relationships happen in your group, but it also happens around the mountain. So I think something that can tend to happen is that people think that boys come to camp because they've got big bad issues that they need help with, and they have issues that they need help with, but their issues are no different than my issues, but they need a place that they can work on. The other thing that they need is that they need other guys next to them with some of the same problems and that have been through a lot of the same experiences to relate to them. And that brings healing from some of the past hurts and some of the past trauma that they've been through. And in a lot of ways, I can't do for Colin what Johnny can do for Colin. Because Johnny can relate to Colin. I can't relate to Colin in some ways. And so that's why we need to live in a group. That's why I can help lead the prospectors. I can help them learn to live together. But a lot of the healing that happens down in comes from you guys helping each other with things. Because you can relate to each other in ways that I can't. So every one of us comes to camp with problems. Every one of us has these 4 areas that we need in our lives to go live successfully and to live well. That is a quick overview of camp from the 4 cornerstones: goals, structure, problem solving, and relationships. Thank you guys for sharing tonight. Well done. We are going to close with a song. It's probably not a song that you hear in church very often. It hasn't sung in church before. It's called Wagon Wheels. It is a song that we would sometimes end the day with. It's a song that goes well with evening and wrapping things up. And I don't know. We're going to sing the song.
Okay, 139.
Turning